Outside on the corner where I caught the bus, thinking in my head it's colder than I thought it was. Sometimes life is like that, and you just quiver your lips, whisper a wish, hoping someone might give us deliverance. Now deliver this message, think I could live with this message. You could just give a few seconds to come and sit in my presence, and yes, it is so precious. Yes, it is a blessing. Next, I'll attempt to express it with every heavy breath. Cause just to make it worth it, and just to make it real, you always made it perfect, and that's the way I feel. Sometimes we think too much, and we lose control, but it's not what you know. No, it's who you know. Say that we're not in, I'm sure you've had them too. Wishing you're still on bed, and yet we have to move. This is what passion do. This is what passion does. It's on my planet's juice. Start sending back the love. No slate fell like a gift from the skies, and teardrops swelled when I lifted my eyes. And it was surely just brightness that had informed in me, while the storm in the streets was adorned in the trees, and it clothed each branch with a layer of the purest snow. And this miracle was a little less than a year ago. Now summer's almost over, the weather's growing colder, approaching frozen soldiers, a Minnesota soldier. Backpack on my shoulder, days are shorter, I spend months alone. Still growing older, feeling lonesome though I'm close to home. I'm the city bus open, both I'm closing on the open road. My soul is swollen though, I'm holding on, and so it goes. And sometimes when it's dark, I look up at the stars, think about how small we are, but at least we at heart. Get back my speeding cars on these streets of ours. I want to be the cause for someone's peace to pause. Cause just to make it work and just to make it real, you always made it perfect, and that's the way I feel. Sometimes we think too much and we lose control, but it's not what you know. No, it's who you know. Days that we're not in, I'm sure you've had them too. Wishing you're still on bed, and yet we have to move. This is what passion do. This is what passion does. It's on my planets too. Start sending me the love. I can't even get emotional, cause even though this road is negotiable, it's a road that shows going solo, finish solo, and then don't know the things that's supposed to know. But so I know some ropes that are broken, and it's a road with the same goal that they take focus. So it's focus, and you're going with this a long way to go. I'm gonna need to go. That's right. When you act like a good big guy, you never focus. That's why I keep no account of flaws. Keep holding out for y'all. People that's all we are. You know one thing about law. Cause it's to make it work. It's just to make it red. You always made it perfect. And that's the way I feel. Sometimes we think too much and we lose control. But it's not what you know. No, it's who you know. They have to know that. I'm sure you have it too. Wishing you still in bed. And yet we have to move. This is what passion do. This is what passion does. It's on my planet too. Stop sending back the love. Cause just to make it worth it, and just to make it real, you always made it perfect, and that's the way you feel. Sometimes we think too much, and we lose control. So it's all this for all of the fools we know.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Dukect, back with you once again. How you feeling? How you feeling? Hope you're feeling good. And um, all that everything else on this cold Thursday evening. Anyway, big news situations here. Um, big news stuff here. The huge news, and it's not Corey Graves stuff, which I will talk later. But right now, we have this news, this story. WWE and TNA Wrestling announced a multi-year partnership as wrestlers will appear on both NXT and TNA Impact. They are officially now business together. The two pro wrestling companies announced a multi-year partnership. The partnership firmly expresses the two companies existing in a working relationship. Just this basically is just continuing the NXT TNA connection. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to. I would not be surprised if this, because remember, in 2002, Knockout champion Mickey James came through the Forbidden Door, and that surprise entrance, even though it's pretty much it was a make good because what they did to her, the previous regime, putting her stuff in a trash bag, really does show how things have changed, and um, you know. And such. But now it feels like there's more of a working relationship. My hope is that they continue to grow with this thing. Both sides are, and but my cynicism is that you have um, the history of what WWE does with this. Evolve. Remember that company? They had like that same NXT and them coming into stuff like that. And then years later, when in fact, they were in I think WWE was working um with them, and then I think they actually came in like all like not all in, but I think one of the AEW pre like shows like Fighter Fest or something. Uh stuff like that. I think they were like airing the same time. And then like during the COVID pandemic, they just stopped doing shows, understandably, but it seemed that the show just got the promotion just went disappeared, and that to me is worrying with me with TNA. And even though I like TNA, even though I have been a fan, I have watched this company from way back in '04 to off and on. I think I pretty much left it like for dead right around '07. No, no, not '07. Like I was still a big fan in '07. I mean, probably about 2017 and 2018. I was pretty much done with TNA, and the pandemic helped me out. The AEW connection worked to help me out, and now the WE stuff is bringing me back into it. My hope is that they continue to grow with this company and do not absorb them, because Lord knows they can. I mean, the roster is too damn big to begin with, and if they did, my fear is that they just doesn't do anything. And I want them to go on the shows and be a part of the whole thing. And I like the fact that all they're doing is putting their younger talent there, and I think at the end of the day, it's actually pretty smart. WWE putting their younger talent in there, and having getting experience, and then bring them back to WWE like a mini version of like excursion. I think that's a positive outlook, and I think that's positive as well. And that's something you people to look at too. But the absolute worst thing, the fear of this, and I think my fear is that TNA does get absorbed by this, and it does get absorbed into this big blob of WWE and now used and such and forgotten about. I want this company. I want TNA to do well. I want WWE to do well. I want all the companies to do well. And even though my paranoid fears that slowly are becoming fact and reality, that old Vinnie Mac is about to come back and such and get a kibosh, because Lord knows, I mean, hey, like I said, Evolve and Progress, all of them were working with them, and next thing you know, swoop, they're just like in the ether and everything else. Like I say, I'm hopeful, and I'm very, very hopeful of the um I want this to be a fruitful relationship. I want this to be a positive relationship. However, like I continuously say, is be wary of it. And when they are wary of this situation, then we actually are, because I would like to not just hear from you guys, but also everyone else here. I want to hear what your thoughts are, because I think this is very positive. There's some people saying this is good. People are saying happiness and you know that sort of stuff here. And my worry is the duopoly of it, with AEW, Ring of Honor, and all this stuff here, WE, TNA. there is no third place. I would say the NWA, but they're in a so irrelevant at this point that I don't think it's even worth mentioning. Maple Leaf Pro, I mean, you got Scott D'Amore visiting AEW the previous night, so you know that's going to be something that what's going to be a situation there could be something there. What are you going to do if this is where's the third place is going to be? Because we all have these talents and they're all stuck in the mid cards and they don't do anything. I think that they should be a third place. The NWA is not relevant enough. They're not actually in the position to be in this big stay here or something like that. TNA would, but they're in the WE. I think they will be absorbed by them in the next couple of years. Could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I want there be a true I want there to be a third way. I want there to be a um, a way of being in the to be in the situation. I want there be a hopeful way to actually, you know, a way of actually putting the stuff, the wrestling, not just in wrestling, but also, like I said, so everyone can have like a consistent, not just pushes, but also um just not just consistent pushes, but just yeah just places people more money to get into their accounts, all that type of stuff to make wrestling build up and everything else. Hmm. That's what it is. That's what I feel like. And you know That's what I that's what I truly believe that would be the best for everyone. But now I'm looking at this right now, seeing what it is, the and the corporate stuff, and I'm reminded of something, and it really, you know, I'm looking at this and everything else that's going on today. Um, right now, looking at this, I'm trying to see if I can find the stuff here. Do, 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 do. Where is it? Um, David Lynch, very interesting and very odd director, passed away today, 78 years old, and I think someone I look at a lot of posts that it doesn't connect to wrestling, but it does connect to something here because um I look at his Twitter X thread from Noble QLE. Let me see if I can put it up here. And I think there's something that really does connect with the whole thing what I'm talking about. Let's see, get it. There it is. Share this in here. It says, I think one of the reasons the deaths of artists like David Lynch, Robert Corman, Dylan Sutherland, etc., hit so hard is more than just their talents. It's their current millennial cohort is miles or miles behind them in terms of capability. We really are losing recipes. And more specifically, it's like, is it just like, right here, it's like we just saying to a friend earlier, this is the crux of the problem. Almost no one who isn't a spoiled rich kid went to a private school can afford to make the art of their livelihood anymore. And you're like, oh, what does it connect to this? And what connects to that is that the originality is being lost in this streaming era. It's being lost in this like collaborating of all these companies. We're being lost. That's the problem. And all of us under like one umbrella, two umbrellas, this, that, the other. Will not matter at the end because their ideas and all these companies and all these places are being just smushed together because these they can't survive on their own. Or when they do try to survive on their own, the bigger company just swallows them up. Just like that. Or, they completely forget about them. Because, thinking about this, you know, with David Lynch and such, that his new film, he couldn't get any financing. He was no financer. There was no financing for his new film before he passed. Other stuff like John Waters, just like you can't do a film because of the same reason. The great artists are aging out, and no studios are interested in funding them. And I feel like wrestling is slowly going to get to that point too, because Hunter and Sean not going to live it forever. Tony Khan not going to be here forever. Scott D'Amore ain't here forever. Chris Man probably, because real white supremacists last a hell of a long time, but he ain't gonna be here forever too. Who is gonna be the next ones up? And eventually, they will go away, and they will not be the ones. Who are going to be their backups? The backup to the backup. That worries me about the future. You know. That's the one thing I worry. These corporations buying up these properties. Corporations can actually just do all this stuff. And now the collaboration of that. That's my fear about this. That is my worst fear. It's going on right here. And that to me terrifies me. That terrifies me about this whole situation. Well, that was a bit dark, but I'm gonna do a little lighten up mood here. Uh, well, let's talk a little about this. Let's see if I can get this. Do, 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 do. Yeah, and speaking of stuff like that, but you know what? We're gonna keep it with NXT. As Corey Graves, this has happened this week. As Corey Graves blurs the lines of reality and such, because I think he did probably dug his own grave. It's basically saying this right here. Remember all this stuff here. Quote, this is him. He deleted the stuff, by the way. He deleted those things, but it's too late. The internet is forever. He says right here, Corey Graves, quote, imagine chasing your dream, then being told, not deciding, that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty fucking awesome at it. And then when it's time for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you're being told you're not famous enough for your own job. Just in case you wondered where have I been. Ooh. And this is NXT. People, and a lot of people are saying, how dare he? How dare he and everything else? Yada, 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 yada. I'm like, but at the end of the day, NXT, he's been in NXT. He went through NXT. And quite honestly, um, it's it's someone like I moved on and tried to build up to his stuff, and now guess what happens? This Pat McAfee come in and basically ruined it. Like, hey man, but that's the game, and such. And people are like, well, NXT's hot right now, and all the other stuff. He sees it as, well, he's been there. He did the NXT. He did the indie stuff. And regardless of what the ratings say, um, you know, personally, I don't really care about that stuff because at the end of the day, you know, only wrestling fans and nerds and people care about ratings. Meanwhile, many other TV shows and many other shows and interesting stuff. Let me just see. Um, let's see. Um, I'll look at this. Bob Hart's Abolosha. this show has I remember this show, and it's like um it gets like it's probably one of the biggest shows like on CBS, and it's like gets like a ton of people watch it on sitcoms and such. You know, it's lasted 5 seasons, and you know um lasted all this type of stuff, and people really had a connection to it. And guess what? It had over, I think, there was set and the rating stuff. It got over, even this final season got like over 5 million, and people never talked about the ratings. By the way, and by the way, in my circles, no one cared about it. By the way, no one talked about this, but yeah, it was a huge hit. So it just shows me how much of a niche we're in. You know, just again, this is let me see if I can get the stuff here. Share the tab. And it's Wikipedia, so you know, take it as a grain of not a grain, but a huge pile, not a pile, like a modicum of salt. But yeah, look at this. Look at the ratings and the millions of viewers and such. And I'm like, average ratings here, 1 point, all this type of stuff. And and people didn't talk about this being, all this other stuff here. So I just look at ratings and all that type of stuff. It's BS, and a lot of people probably are more in. I guarantee you, most people outside of our little circle, and this is a little circle. It might get big at times, but it's still the circle is small, and most of it's on Twitter because most people are not on Twitter, or most people are not on Blue Sky. Most of them are probably still on Facebook, but barely use it. But yeah, just reminding people that it's it's a big old world out there, and people don't care about the ratings and such. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, let's make sure everything else is looking good. Always make sure the stuff is good. You want to make sure everything is looking good. Anyway, let's see if I can get this right. Do, 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 do. Making sure everything is okay because Lord knows you don't want to be in a bad situation. You understand? But yeah, anyway, it does, like I said, Corey Graves is mad. I truly believe that if I wish in my in my personal opinion, I truly wish that he would have handled this in more of a private stuff. I mean, what happened to just going behind the scenes? You understand me? What happened to that? What happened to going behind the scenes? What happened to just sitting there and be like, okay, we're gonna go behind the scenes and not do all this BS stuff? And I like the fact later on that he said, "Oh, I got enough to say. Don't make WWE NXT tonight on CW and such, trying to make it to work and such." Now they told him to get his no, you stay in your butt home, Bucko. You're done. And I'm like, good. I'm like, good. Keep his butt at home. I am not like, keep his stuff and drama at home and keep it moving. And it just means a lesson to everybody on WE, maybe EW, maybe Tony Khan can learn that too. Don't let people talk all this stuff and big old do what I shoot stuff. You don't let that stuff on your program. You send his butt home. You know? I'm done with all this stupid stuff. And I think they should be done with that stupid stuff too. And I'm happy for it. Corey Graves has always been in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Has always done all this type of stuff. So, you know, remember, don't do anything So again, don't do anything stupid, man. Just be honest and everything else. Hmm. Yeah, but you never know, man. But yeah, like I said, I think that Corey Graves could have done a lot better. Look at the situations and said, maybe we could have looked at this a little bit different. Maybe you could have done more and such like that. Why are you doing the same stupid stuff? Like you're like in the eat, like all this other stuff, man. You know what? It's the stupid stuff like this is like the reason why people don't take wrestling seriously. No one, that's why I mean, you look at this any other place, you're like, what the heck are you doing with your life, man? You know what? These, why can't people just start acting, being more responsible and such? Why is it like, you know what? I just think that, you know, you know, uh, you know, just that, you have to just do these stupid stuff. Why just go talk to somebody else. Say, you know what, just say, hey, I don't really want to do this stuff here. I want to go something else and say, hey, I don't want to go to NXT. Be the person there, like, hey, we're doing this big important stuff, yada yada yada. So I'm like, okay, but I just, maybe find something else to do. Maybe, you know what? I don't want to do announcing. Maybe do one of those Netflix shows, because I think I could do a little bit of Netflix shows on WWE when they're doing on Netflix, do a new show, do something like that. Maybe have a little more like, hey, maybe working in the behind the scenes for a while until Pat McAfee has to go. I'm like, hey, I'm going to work behind the scenes, be more mature adult. I think that should be a more positive way to deal these things. But until that, I mean, that's just I don't get this. I don't get how people are just so childish to the point you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go put on this, go on Twitter or X and do this. Look at this. Why are you doing this right there, man? This to me is stupid and immature. You're almost a 40-year-old man drunk tweeting on this stuff, man. You could have told this to anybody around you, told us talk to people inside the damn company instead of your damn drinking tweets and everything else, like like a child, like a teenager, or like a 20 year old. You're a grown ass man putting this stuff online, and it is shameful. Mm. Just because you got a phone or a tablet doesn't mean you have to tweet your feelings out. All right? Yeah. That's what I gotta say. Don't tweet your feelings out. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Uh, but yeah, that's all I gotta say for the wrestling program here, people. But, if you have anything to say, comment below. Let me know. Also, by the way, if you have anything about that, in the wrestling space and everything else, remember you can call in to the number. Let me see if I get this right. Want to make sure I get all the stuff right. Right here and you can not you can join in into the live stream and such like that. And here's the link to it. If you want to join the studio, you can come in, join the studio, and chat with me, Duke CT, as well. If you put that link here, bada bing, bada boom, you can come in, download, just hit the link, and I will put you on the air, and you could be right here and talk to me, Duke CT, live about this subject about Corey Graves. WWE TNA Working Multi-Year deal and such, because I want to hear the wrestling fans and all that stuff here. We'll talk about that. But until that time, you want to call in and everything else, we're going to take a small little break here to listen to some music, some lovely little music. And next up, we're going to talk about Diamond. Oh, yes. No, not that. Not the Diamond, but we're going to be talking about the comic distributor of Diamond. And, well, they are going bankrupt. And the reasons why they're going bankrupt, well, there's a lot of stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. It will be, and I will, Diamond Comics Distributors is facing bankruptcy. And we're going to talk about that and more here live on the Dukect Lounge. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to put a comment, and all that good stuff, and then subscribe and everything else. We'll be talking about this and everything else tonight and everything here live on the Dukect Lounge. Remember, Dukect Lounge is on Thursday nights, every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And oh yeah, by the way, I will see if I can try to do a quick one at MagFest. I will see if I can do a quick one just to be able to see how the vibes are. And then on the 30th, if I can't, I'll do a nice little video version of it, quick little vlog version of the podcast. On the 23rd, so I'm gonna be at MagFest. And if I can't, I will do it on the 30th. Hopefully, I won't be too sick from the con flu and such. But yeah, it is gonna be a very interesting time for me, Dukect. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be right back right after this.
I do what I need to have fun.
Whether chilling in the lab, equation pen and a pad, meditate on the universe, down to an atomic mass, to Disney movie craft, opposition comes in last. Yeah, we straight from the sewer, but y'all ninjas just trash.
You gotta be out your mind trying to mess with the team. A warrior keeps the chill, calm and serene till a villain pops up in the civilian's path. And I step in and play whack-a-mole with my bow staff. Late night heroes, bright lights of the city, cruising in that turtle van. And I got the whole crew with me. Lasers on the roof, computers in the back, hooked up by yours truly. Shredder, where you at? Divide the pie, subtract the whack, add the fact that we hold it down in every city on the map, multiply by the brain power I possess. That's a recipe for success. Yes.
I do what I need to have fun. You know the space, you've seen it on the Tizzle, reporting on the issues, the saga continues. There's a whole slew of people chasing after me, further than the eye can see, it runs in the family. Blocking and knocking these haters out with my click. All we need is some kicks, cause we do it like this. Shower you with a turtle power, any given day, any given night. But need you wanna start some game? Feel good to work with your katana, watch him. Slice it and dice it up. Tell your homeboys better beware. Here comes Michelangelo with the shucks. Then you running straight back to your land. Ooh, join on up with Donnie and Ralph. Take a little ride, we'll head out south. On the red line or a damn rhyme. Once you step up, don't make us have to go off. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Take us to your leader, we gon' shred him like he wants to be. I do it, I need to have fun. I do it,
Navigate the landscape from video games to fame across the range of America, the Great Plains. Chicago sewers got less rats than back home. What would you do if you lived under the thrones? Yeah, I had to move as the group was lost in New York. Foot soldiers adored, so I moved and got a new sport. And now I'm staining mills on a magnificent mile, extra deep dish style. But once in a while, I recall Fireballs falling downstairs, but I ain't scared. I got my ninja powers and I'm always prepared. Don't stare. I might be a little green, but you'll be envious of my fighting machine skills. Pills I never pop. I keep my body hot. I can cold cock any robot on the block. Stop the presses. My robes are swinging high in the fan. It's pizza time, so for Brian's label what's grand. Leaps one combat. It's long and difficult. Following that, we achieve our goal.
I do whatever I need to have fun. I do
Red chucks on, nose ring swingy, purple mohawk with some shades for the framing, pins in my frame and Steve for the Franklin, call steady rock, hit the blocks in the bank and
Unlike the Brady's.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and everything else. Thank you again. Wow. By the way, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And now we're getting to the main event. Comics distributor Diamond is filing for bankruptcy. This is something that the world's biggest English language comic distributor is selling off assets and scaling its business back in order to survive. This also was this week. Diamond Comic this is from Verge and by the article by Charles Pullamore, and it is like Diamond Comics Distributors, one of the biggest companies involved in getting graphic novels into physical retailers for purchase, is filing for bankruptcy and scaling its business back as the industry braces for its new wave of economic challenges. And the letter comes in from the president, Chuck Baylor, announced the company has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and plans to sell off its Alliance game distributors arm to Universal in order to protect the most vital aspects of our business. This was quote from a letter. He says, this decision was not made lightly, and I understand that this news may be difficult to hear as it is for me to share. The Diamond leadership team and I have worked tirelessly to avoid this outcome, but the financial challenges we face have left us with no viable option. And it is this was the if you don't know, it is the heavyweights in the comic business by securing exclusive distribution agreements with various publishing houses, DC, Marvel, Image, all this stuff, and showcasing like the preview images, preview magazines, showcase upcoming titles, was instrumental in bringing comics to market and played a huge role in determining a book's success. Saying, okay, this is going to be our big thing. If this is not on the preview market, then guess what? It's not. And nowadays, you know what I'm saying? It just looks like the reason why the publishers and such, Marvel left and such, DC left for them, and then Marvel did that as well. They basically could not really expect delivery. This is basically like Indies and Image, because DC and Marvel just stopped doing them anymore, and it's a shame because I think Diamond, they didn't really push themselves into a very positive point. I think they just were still very stagnant, and it looks like they can't really stay in the comic game for too long. And the reason why I believe is they haven't, because they have not done anything to really I think the whole comics medium has been stagnant and stuck in the past for so long. And I keep going back. Let's see my old Blue Sky. Let me see if I can find this stuff here. Let's see. Communications. Let's see. About 4 months ago. 6 years ago. Yada yada yada. Let's see. There it is. You know, let me just share this, and I always say this thing. But my Blue Sky account, by the way, if you are my Blue Sky, DukecT45 at the Blue Sky Social. And it just like says right here. So at this point, it might be just to go straight digital at this point. Have the comic book stores just sell completely completed graphic novels and completed runs, and everything else just digital. And just like, and also going back to this, why are these why are the comic books Marvel and DC still operating on trades and number ones and such? I want to get into stuff like the ultimate verse and such, but like it's got weak and most of them are like nothing is happening. It's a lot of filler stuff. I want to. I'll read a completed season and such. Let me do a completed season of the Ultimate Spider-Man or the Ultimate Avengers or Absolute Batman, Absolute Flash or Absolute Superman or Absolute Wonder Woman. I know I want to sit there and actually read all of that and like, hey, like have like all that stuff written down and say this is the part one or halfway season or whatever. You know, it, I think that's the problem is like you could do like volume ones, volume twos, and our short stories, our short comic books. I mean, I heard there's like a really good comics that are like Elseworld stories that are good, but most of them like I wait to but they're still in that trade format. Like um there's some people say DC's Rogues is actually pretty decent, but a lot of it is like it's on the DC Black Label. But it's like it was like a 5-issue series. You had to wait 5 months to read the whole completed story. I'm like, no. Why not just make a graphic novel about that? And that's the real issue about Diamond and all these other stuff is that you have these stories and these stuff here is because of oh man, we really need to do this stuff here, They really need to like, oh man, we gotta keep these trades going and such. And I'm like, no. No, just the trades and everything else, it is a dead idea. They need to move on from trades. It is I feel like it has been a hindrance to the comics industry. In fact, um I look at what's the best thing in comics right now is outside media. And the two big things right now with James Gunn's whole thing in DC, where he's saying what type of comics they are in, and they're selling out like All Star Superman, they're selling out all this stuff here. But also with Marvel Rivals and everything else, that has gotten people back into the Fantastic Four. People have been buying the Fantastic Four up. You see, stuff like that supposedly, allegedly. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, there is a decent fan base for it. Not everyone's gonna love manga, and because manga is winning, and people love manga and everything else. But there is an outlet. There is a audience for comic books. There is audience for the independent comics and such. There is an audience for that, but distributors like Diamond and just not really connecting with these the comic industry still operating like it's still the 90s. They're still operating. It's like this type of weird type of stagnant type of way and everything else. Thinking they're selling 1 million or over 800,000 copies or whatever. You're not. You should be. You know they should be running this stuff. The MCU. That's I'm looking at the MCU and I'm sitting here. I'm like, Marvel Comics should be like selling Spider-Man and Iron Man and all the Avengers, all those comics should be selling at least a minimum like 800 to 900,000 comics or something like that. To me, it is the ball has been dropped so badly for these comics and the way they've done so, both DC and Marvel. It is a shame. It is just a really a shame how they're just used by these comic and such. It is a shame that they have to do these the way they built up the way they've you know let the source material of these comics become irrelevant, and it's frustrating because Look at Marvel Rivals. I'm like, it is Dracula's like taking over. It was like a part of a storyline. And I'm like, why couldn't that be, built up for something? In fact, the one thing I really hate about Marvel is that they don't really do any of those DC movies and such. I mean, maybe they do, but I feel like they should be doing stuff like you see if the storyline's not be able to do a movie, they should be making like an animated like Tomorrowverse or something. They could like, oh my gosh, the heroes are actually just like in this separate universe, and just be like they could do like maybe I don't know, Serpent Society or something. They can do a version of Tom One's out without all the money spent and everything else. They could do a version of like the Dracula taking over the world and such. They could do a version of X-Men versus Avengers and such, and build that stuff there. There is stuff they could do animated wise that people can get an audience. And you want to make it for families and such, young kids and everything else. Sure, you can do that, but I don't see Marvel doing that. I don't see that, and it's frustrating to me. It's very frustrating that they could be doing this stuff to really get their ideas and stuff in the comics. Meanwhile, DC animated wise, you may not hate it, you may not like the art style and everything else, but at least they go out and try. And when this new era and such, I mean, Creature Commandos and I think Dynamic Duo and the stuff that's going to come down the pike, I think that's going to be up Marvel again because they have the opportunity, Marvel and all this other stuff, to have the opportunity to make their comic worlds seem more alive, and instead they just like, nah, we're not doing that, and this goes right back to the comics. It goes right back to Marvel, and I think DC will be a lot more better with James Gunn when he's promoting his stuff. I want more people to start promoting their comics and such, and maybe actually, maybe crazy idea, maybe give them, some money to say, hey, you create this story for us, and everything else, and here's some cash and such. You don't have to live. You don't have to get a GoFundMe. You know, it's messed up. Yeah, these comic creators and these ideas for these stores to make billions of dollars, and they have to go on GoFundMe and say, "Hey, they need to go out and for health issues and such," which is disgusting. Which is disgusting and is very disturbing, and pox on both DC and Warner Brothers for letting this stuff happen. But yeah, and it goes right back, like I say, it goes right back to um, not really, moving on with the times, seeing what other industries right now are doing, and I think that's one of the frustrating thing about comics right now. Even there are some good independent stuff. I hear Radiant Black is actually pretty good. I hear there's like Invincible is pretty daggone good as well. But there are so many independent comics that are good, but sadly are probably still tied up with the Diamond stuff, which is really hurts them as well. So, you know, I think Diamond needs to look in the mirror and say, hey, we need to really look, see what manga is doing, see what they're doing, and try to maybe, not pressure, say, force these writers and stuff like, no, 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 not that. I'm just saying they should be making sure that the writers and the colorists and everyone else get not just fully compensated and such, but also make sure that their stories are in the best place to get like the eyes on them, the best place to read and write all this type of stuff to say a completed volume, a completed season, or something like that. Do that, and I think people will start coming to comic book shops again and buying them stuff again. They will. I truly believe that. And if we can do it, if they can't go to the comic shop and there's no comic shop near them, you know what? Digital then. Like, get a digital and such, something like that, saying, hey, you can have this and this, you're not gonna wait 3 or 4 months to have the stuff here. It's like when it's the last trades or whatever and everything else, it's gonna be there. There. If it's released in the store, it's released there. How about that? Maybe I think that'd be best for everybody. But that's just my personal opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Comment below. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. As this is the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to me, Duke CT. Peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.